Take it, guys.
Where should we take it, Mike? How does this work?
You can introduce yourselves.
Yeah, please introduce yourselves.
Sure.
This is the AMA with Rich and Lucas from Modular Robotics.
So I'm the CFO here at SparkFun. Been here for like 2.5 years. And let's see, I've got some letters after my name. I'm a CPA, certified in Colorado and in New York. And what else? I went to school and stuff, and I climbed an accounting totem pole. There is one. It's different than the accounting ladder. The accounting ladder is like what most of the CPAs and accountants do. I climbed accounting totem pole, which is what brought me here. And here at SparkFun, I would say that I am in charge of recording, so keeping the books, noting what has happened. I am in charge of forward thinking, forecasting what's going to happen in the future. And then theoretically, I participate in strategy, so trying to design what that future is going to look like. And I do this. That's kind of my day. That's not a lot, but sometimes I'll do this. Can you see this, Nick?
Yep.
Drop the mic. That's what I do.
All right.
This is Lucas.
I'm Lucas Spaulding. I'm the CFO for Modular Robotics. I too have letters after my name. Try not to promote them because they make me seem more boring than I actually am.
This is CPA.
I am a CPA. I climbed the traditional ladder of the CPA world, but it ended me up in about the same spot. I guess I like to say that I put virtual representations of money into imaginary buckets and then try to gain knowledge about the business from them.
Nice.
All right. So how did you two both get involved with electronics business specifically?
Lucas, why don't you start off with that one while I make up an answer?
I was looking for a job, and Modular Robotics was hiring for their accounting position, and they made toys, and I thought that was cool, and I used to play with Legos a lot, and they had building blocks that were robots.
Nice.
And I called, and Eric and I get along really well, and it seemed like a good fit. So I've been there now almost 2 years.
That reminds me of a quote. I have a friend in Boulder who, he was supposed to be a world famous musician, and I was going to ride his coattails, but instead he was like a flailing punk rocker, and ages ago, he got a job working for like a food delivery service in Boulder, and a magazine once was interviewing him because he was like named Guitar God of Boulder, and they were like, "Why do you work there?" And he said, "It's the job I got when I was getting a job," and that was 15 years later. But so me, I'm definitely not like an embedded electronics guy. The closest I come to being sort of a DIY person is that my wife builds stuff, but I am kind of my own style geek, and I think the culture seemed to fit really well, and so that's kind of what attracted me to SparkFun when I was looking for a job. Yeah.
All right. And Lucas, do you do any tinkering on your own with electronics, or?
I have a minor in computer science, so I have done some coding, but kind of started out in the engineering world, but ended up going towards business, and accounting had the most numbers, and I liked math, so turned out that the math isn't very hard in accounting.
Would you agree with that, Rich?
I would agree with that. It's you don't get to the first or second derivative in accounting. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So when you're schmoozing with other accountants and CFOs, what's your kind of business elevator speech for your respective companies?
where are the creative people in your company, and point me to them. No. Well, the elevator speech about, like, say that again, Tony.
What's
but
your business
in, like,
elevator
the inverse?
speech? So, you know, say you're trying to explain to somebody what SparkFun is and what you do. How do you kind of do that as an elevator speech for other business-minded people?
So that elevator speech doesn't happen a lot. I'm still working on my kind of elevator speech of what SparkFun does. But yeah, I think, how about I'm going to start a theme here where I'm just going to quote myself. So I recently said, we design stuff. I didn't use the word stuff. We build stuff and we sell stuff. And that's my elevator speech. But really it is I would say the thing that I have an elevator speech to people in-house where I'm always talking about the margins, how SparkFun basically, we do design and build stuff and sell stuff, and there's the equation of like how much it cost to build this pig, then how much I sell the pig for leaves some leftover money. We call that the margin. And then I've got all the people working here, and that money has to be enough to do all of that operating stuff and still have some money left over. And that's kind of my elevator speech, is trying to simplify the equation into the sales minus the cost of those sales minus the operating expenses, and hopefully there's some money left over because you need cash to do stuff. Yeah.
All right. Lucas, you want to chime in?
Let's see, my elevator speech. Well, I work for a toy company. We build robotic construction kits for kids. We have Nerf darts and Nerf guns in the office, and so when you need somebody's attention, it usually starts with aiming and firing.
Nice.
And I got along with that ideal really well.
All right. Let's see, what's the next question we've had submitted here, which if you guys watching live have any questions, please post them. We'd love to hear them. One of our engineers wanted to know what your thoughts were on literature.
Wow. So I'll start that one off because I was actually expecting this question. So I have a canned speech on it. Thumbs up to literature. No, actually, so when thank you. When I interviewed for this job, I brought gifts as a way to bribe the people interviewing me. And I also took the opportunity to showcase my talents by basically snooping one of the directors and learning some stuff about her and finding out the literature that she likes. And I brought her a book in hard copy as her gift, and as my way of saying, like, no, dude, we're like the same, like we like the same things. But I find myself like I go through like ebbs and flows in reading. I'm kind of a sci-fi guy. Fantasy stuff tends to make me want to jump out windows. I like my realism in my sci-fi. And 3 times now I have just tried to read the teen novel series Divergent, and it's painful. It's painful. But so I think I'm going to let it go and watch the movies.
All right.
Yeah. So that's my story on literature.
Reading's good. I don't read much anymore, but I burn through Audible books on tape like crazy.
Nice.
Mostly because I have a 45-minute commute, so I have a lot of time to listen.
And where are you from originally?
Fort Collins.
Oh.
Yep, I'm about as native as it gets. Graduated from the same high school both my parents did.
Nice. What? I would like to know what the rules are in terms of nativeness. Like, I married a Boulder girl. Does that make me kind of like, I'm trying to, my roots are like New York Jew. I am like Woody Allen's family, and Boulder seems kind of cool, so I'm trying to get on the inside. Am I, like, if there was citizenship for like cities, would I be a Boulder citizen? That's what I want to know.
No, you can't marry into it.
No? Damn.
We can't deport you, but you didn't become native.
All right.
So we had a serious question come in from the audience. What charitable endeavors does SparkFun or Modular Robotics participate in from a monetary aspect?
Good question. Lucas, the camera's already on me. I mean, on you. On you, Lucas, on you.
So we did a No Shave Movember this past year, and we tried to open it up for both the men and women of our office. So we had several ladies that painted or wore stuck-on mustaches while in the office. We raised, I think, close to $3,000 that way, and gave you could choose between the local humane society or some other nonprofit that was helping some unknown disease that I clearly can't remember, but that one of our assembly workers' wife was inflicted with, and it's extremely rare, so it doesn't get very many dollars. So
Nice.
That was kind of fun. We had lots of terrible, creepy mustaches.
Nice.
Mine being one.
All right.
I like it. We do a couple of things as a standard. We've been supporting the CU, University of Colorado, CU, electrical engineering department, I think, or maybe just engineering department, with cash money each of the last many years. We don't. So another company that's like receiving money from us recently, last year we tried to do this thing where we did a Survey Monkey in-house to where people wanted to send money, and we were going to take one of our bigger sales day and make like a 10% donation, and Electronic Frontiers Foundation got that money. It just barely beat out the No Kill Advocacy Center, a animal sheltering group, beat it out by a few votes. And then other than that, we definitely do a bunch of sponsoring of different robotics programs and stuff, and I think we're going through sort of a rethinking on how we do that at this time. And the directors of this company have thought about making a little bit more standardized how we review and decide where dollars might go out there in the world. And recently, this I think I'm going to draw a diagram on the board here. I want to tell you guys. Okay, so me and Lucas were CPAs. CPAs tend to be sort of industrious, and so this company, the CPA firm. Oh Jesus. This is the plans to SparkFun's future that I'm erasing right here. I'm hoping I remember. But basically there was a lake in upstate New York, okay? And like you've heard of lake effect snow, the wind comes from west to east and it pounds across this lake and it drops snow and stuff. And then there's a highway. Can you see this, Nick? You think? Yeah. There's a highway that goes into Syracuse. Syracuse is the most beautiful city in America, and this highway is like the commute way to get there. And there's a bunch of trees along this lake, okay? And so KPMG, Pete Marwick in the day, back in the Big Six, this was around the Civil War era, back when there were 6 big accounting firms, we had a volunteer day, and we got all these CPAs together, and the state of New York was going to have us trim a bunch of these trees so that these commuters going to their sad, sad jobs in Syracuse could see the lake. This is actually a big lake. It's not like, it's more than like 4 inches. It's a very big lake. And so they set us up with chainsaws and stuff, and being industrious CPAs, they left us at like 9 a.m. They were like, we'll check back at lunch. And by lunch, we're also we think we're smart, but we're actually like common sense morons. We clear cut the entire thing, and what we did was we created this unchecked crazy wind situation that made the major artery into the city of Syracuse unpassable that winter. They had to spend like $1 million to put up wind blocks and boards, and basically we created a commuting nightmare for an entire half year in the city of Syracuse. Thank you. So we're thinking about doing an all-day volunteer day at SparkFun, kind of in honor of that tragedy.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you going to plant trees?
I think we're just going to clear cut because it was really effective. We just have to pick a city that we want to stick it to, like Fort Collins or something. But it has to have like one route in, otherwise the impact is diminished. Anyway, sorry, Tony.
People are complimenting you on your whiteboard skills.
Thank you.
For the record.
Thank
so, yes. All right, next question. How did you two get to become chummy?
There's a very specific answer, and it is, what's the CEO founder, Modular Robotics? Eric. So Eric and Nate, the two poobahs of the two company, were like, our people should network. And then I got an email from Nathan, and it was like, Rich, there's a guy across Boulder. You should meet him and talk shop. And I was like, okay, Lucas, do you want to grab a beer? And then there was like a third woman in the party, and it's actually super helpful, sort of sharing shop notes and talking about how you do things, and because you basically you get a very insulated. There's a lot of standardizations in how you run a company, and certainly how you account for it and stuff like that. But you get insulated, and you tend to sort of do things your own way. So we met up at one of the local breweries and hung out and talked shop, and we did it a couple of times, and it kind of faded out. I would say that in our little networking group of three, the other individual was a little bit greener and kind of had higher needs, so that the meetings tended to be about that. And what's next, Lucas? What's our next date? We're going to go up into the mountains, and I can be your
my Sherpa?
I can
You'll
be your
carry my
Sherpa.
stuff?
I will carry your stuff. I whatever you need. I will feed you cheese sticks.
I don't know what to respond to that.
Okay, but that's how it happened. It was like good old-fashioned networking.
All right. And do you guys go to lots of CFO conferences where you all roll around on piles of money? Is that typically what the life of a CFO is?
Yes.
The accounting cocktail parties are really entertaining.
Yeah.
Lots of introverts hiding in corners, watching other people not have conversations while waiting for the requisite amount of time before you can leave.
So it's kind of like a middle school dance.
Very much like a middle school dance.
I've tended to go, I actually do go to some of these CFO conferences. They tend to be at least like 60 to 70% like, picture a Renaissance fair, okay? But instead of people in medieval garb, you have CPAs in ties and suits. They're not even, and they're like, sample my wares. Have you tried our accounting? And all of the talks kind of come back to this sales focus to try their products, and a lot of their products are interesting. So at times where I'm looking for something, I find these conferences to be useful. But I do find CFO conferences to be very dry, and it tends to be the kind of thing where, like, the investment to get there, you're paying like $2,000 to $3,000 for like 5 gems, little moments, these little ideas. So it's like $600 an idea. So like I can come back and I can say to the CEO, like, hey, we should try like responsive budgeting. I paid $600 for that sentence. Was it worth it? I don't know. So I'm taking the year off for that kind of thing in 2015. I'm going to try and get myself to a couple of maker fairs and go crazy. The plan.
Have you ever been to a maker fair, Lucas?
I haven't yet, but we just had people at the Boulder Maker Fair from ModBot.
Nice.
Very cool. We're getting a few questions for you here, Lucas. Somebody, I'm assuming this might be one of your coworkers, is saying that you really have a hard time with compliments. Is that true? That you don't know how to respond to them?
True.
You could have phrased that like you do a really good job having a hard time with compliments.
Yes. Thank you, Kayvon.
Also, your shirt is getting a compliment. So,
Nice.
Very important question coming from the audience. Twizzlers or Red Vine?
Ooh, that's an easy one.
Red Vine.
No question, no doubt there. Wow.
Yeah, definitely red vine. There's no doubt about that. Have you ever had like red vines that have gotten really hard? They're like, it reminds me of the days of like eating Applejack cereal where your top of your mouth just got shredded. It's that good. But every once in a while, cherry flavored Twizzlers, but you get like, it's like Brussels sprouts. Like after like 5, it's horrible. Yeah.
I would say red vines, and then use them as a straw for Coke.
Oh yeah.
Then it's like cherry Coke at the movie theater.
Yeah,
that was
for
my
sure.
high school go-to.
Yeah. And that's the problem with Twizzlers. You can do the same thing, but the pull is so slow, it's just frustrating.
All right. Next question coming in from the audience. How do you guys as CFOs deal with accounting software?
What do you guys use?
I'm embarrassed to.
Don't.
Well, no.
QuickBooks is awesome.
Okay. Yeah. QuickBooks is awesome.
Yeah. No. So we use QuickBooks, and I actually have 5 days to start looking for an accounting software program and choose it according to stay on my schedule. So we're going to be graduating out of QuickBooks this year. I actually think QuickBooks is an amazing program. It's very two-dimensional. So like there are things that you just can't do with it, but it does the basics very well. And I think a lot of individuals, companies, whomever, they try to overkill the sort of the solutions to account for things, and I have a feeling that you guys are like this too. Like we keep it pretty simple. You have to manage your inventory. I'm kind of remembering you do that in QuickBooks.
Yes, but we are also on a deadline to replace or upgrade our inventory and supply chain production management side, because
Nice.
We have reached kind of thresholds in QuickBooks that make it more frustrating than helpful.
I have an idea. I have what I would call a win-win-lose proposition for you, where I win and win. And no, we have a self-made inventory management system, kind of ERP, and it really kicks ass. There are aspects of it that it struggles to keep up with us. Our QuickBooks and our replacement for QuickBooks does not integrate with that system. I don't think it needs to. But I would like to I will just copy and paste it onto your hard drive, our inventory management system. We'll sell it to you for $10 million and the maintenance contract for $1 million a year. And so that's where I win and win. No, I don't know where I was going with that, Lucas.
That's in the ballpark of what we're looking at.
Yeah.
So I'll put your system on the list.
Right on. And if anybody out there in this world knows what my next accounting software package is, let me know. I would love to hear.
There is a question if you have ever used Mass 90?
Mass 90. Well, Mass 90 and Mass 200, they were bought out by Sage Company when they now have Sage 100 ERP system. That is definitely high on my list, so the Mass 90 is up there. What I really want in our next accounting program, it's like, I want QuickBooks with like 3 different features that QuickBooks doesn't have, and I want it cloud-based. So I can set up for my CEO, he can get online, and he just sees the dashboard of reports that he's accustomed to, and he can tweak that, and he can watch through a portal that's useful to him. QuickBooks doesn't do that well. QuickBooks has an online program, but it's so dumbed down it wouldn't be able to operate for either of our companies. And then the attribute that I really need that QuickBooks can't do for me, I mentioned that QuickBooks is two-dimensional. It basically, you can tell QuickBooks, this is a pig expense, right? Which is obvious. How could this not be a dog? So you can say this is a pig expense and it belongs in the marketing department. So when I tag this item, when we spend the money to buy this, we know it's a pig expense and we know marketing bought it. But we can't add any other dimensionality. Excuse me, will you guys take a break while I settle my pig? No, I'm kidding. So I want to be able to say, this is a pig, marketing bought it, it's part of the Build a New World campaign, and it's basically part of our Brussels office. And right now, like, QuickBooks is just like, it's a pig. I don't understand. And I need that multi-dimensionality from that, is what I'm looking for. Yeah.
All right. Are there any other packages you guys are looking at that you have thoughts on, strong feelings one way or the other?
No, we've made the choice to keep QuickBooks as the backbone, just so that we can move quicker on the next system that we add to it. So there are lots of packages and lots of different software packages that'll take portions of the business and then link to QuickBooks at specific points where QuickBooks stays the backbone. So I think we're going that direction, save time on the implementation, reduce the costs. That should get us by for another couple years.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that. I will throw an accounting software name out there, like name drop, for those of you looking for like the name drop in the accounting software world. So Intact, like it's the problem I have with that is, okay, so my name is Richard Parker, and sometimes I go by Rich. I usually refer to myself as Rich, but Rich Parker, it just doesn't flow. It's not like Rich Parker. It has like a stutter, and like Intact, I don't even know how to say it. Like QuickBooks, easy. Like Intact, like that's enough of a reason to honestly not go with them.
All right. What are your guys' thoughts on open frameworks, building your own accounting packages out of that kind of thing? Is that something that you guys at Modular Robotics are looking at, or?
There is a open source accounting package. I think it's Open ERP. We talked about it. At the end of the day, though, I want somebody that I can call and yell at when it doesn't work and hold them accountable to fix it, and not have to get my IT guy to try to fix it when everything's breaking and I'm losing money, or can't find the imaginary bucket that I put the virtual dollars in.
Yep. I would totally agree with Lucas. After this, I'll be like, I totally disagree. No, but I really do agree, and with what you were saying about like the inventory management, like that's the gold, and I think with the accounting package, just simple is better, tried and true is better. I did actually approach this year our IT team, and I was like, wow, would you be interested in building your own accounting software? And they waited like 5 minutes, and then they said no. And I think it was a good choice. I think you can there's lots of ways to get distracted. That sounds like a perfect one.
All right. Have you guys heard anything or have any opinions about Tiger as far as open source packages?
I am not familiar.
No. Are you talking about this? Actually,
well played.
Honestly, I am ready to purchase that system just based on its name.
All right.
So call me. Done.
All right. Emily out in
It's
the
open
office.
source. I don't have to purchase it. I just purchased it. Thank you. Sorry, Tony, continue.
Open source doesn't mean free.
Oh,
You should know that, Rich. I mean,
Yeah.
you work at an open source
Yeah.
company where you make money, right? Open source makes you money?
yeah. Yes. Yes. All of
right.
the above is
All
my
right.
answer.
Question coming in from Emily. Do you guys do pranks in your office or offices?
Well, our Emily in our office is the primary driver of most pranks.
Nice. Now, the funniest thing I've seen anybody do here was completely white wall somebody's office door away when they were on vacation. But it actually wasn't that funny, but it was impressive. So there's that.
Do you guys manage
Oh,
to...
just today, late breaking news, my alter ego, a guy named Jack Stone, applied for a position here at SparkFun. It's the second position he's applied for. So that's kind of pranky.
Jack Stone. How is this your alter ego?
Well, Jack Stone, Jack Stone is really an unbelievable person. He actually invented parkour before there was parkour. It was called line running, where basically you just run as it's not even timed. He ran for 4 days straight to break the world record until the French government stole parkour from him. And now in his latest application for the director of IT position at SparkFun, Jack Stone, he's so impressive. He didn't even feel like he needed to do a resume or a cover letter. He just basically said he's invented this thing called the data sphere. It's basically a portal to all the data in the world. It exists at like 2 meters above sea level. And he wants to bring that to the world through SparkFun. So that's why he's applying for the director of IT position.
Sounds like quite the guy.
Yeah. That's Jack Stone. What was the question?
What are the types of office pranks that happen to go on?
I think we've answered that, Tony.
All right.
Thank you, Emily, very much.
Well, moving on to the next one. Coming in from Kimberly, this question is for both of you. If a zombie apocalypse were to happen, would you be Carol, Daryl, Rick, or Michonne?
That's
Michonne. Solid. That sword is awesome.
Yeah. I would want to be Daryl, but I'm pretty sure I would be early first season. What's the kid's name? Just Carl. Just nervous, awkward hair Carl. But I would want to be Daryl and be that yeah. But here at SparkFun, in our employee handbook, or maybe it's in the safety manual, we actually have how to survive the zombie apocalypse. So I don't know about your TV show, but for the real thing, I've got a plan. That's all I'm saying.
Does Modular Robotics have a plan for the zombie
do you have a
apocalypse?
plan for the...
Well, I have a 10-year-old stepson, so our home definitely has a plan because he's obsessed with surviving the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
I don't think ModBot has a plan. I don't plan to come into work during the zombie apocalypse. I will be sharpening my samurai sword.
Good call.
It's a good call, yeah.
Good call.
Good thing to be doing with that.
Yeah.
All right, on to the next question. What do you guys do in your free time when you're not, counting all those dollar bills?
I pretty much go home and I count. I have this make-believe company. I call it Second CPA Life, and I just go home and I do that accounting. Lucas?
I don't. Well, I have a small ownership in the Denver Bicycle Cafe in Denver, so I do a little accounting for them, but that's like 4 hours a month. Other than that, I kayak and ski and... Yeah. I tend to head towards the hills whenever I have time.
Nice.
Good place to be.
And for real, that's actually really what I do is just go home and do more number crunching.
You just can't get enough of the number
Just
crunching?
can't not get enough.
All right.
I'm going to have to bring you my abacus. You would probably get more use out of it.
Nice. I worked for, one of my first jobs was working for this engineering company called Abacus, and they spelled it like abacus. And I was like, why Abacus? And they were just like, well, that's our name. It wasn't based on anything. So I quit by getting fired.
It's a good reason to quit.
Thanks. Thank you.
Do you learn how to use an abacus in finance school? Is that one of the classes you have to learn how to use that?
No, I learned that on YouTube.
Nice.
Excellent.
Yeah, it has something to do with the power of tens, but no. Yeah, no. They tried to teach me.
Lucas, I see there's something in the comments about you having a modeling career. Would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, it lives in Excel.
Your men's beachwear modeling career lives in Excel?
Not appropriate, no comment.
Not appropriate.
All right. On the commentary of men's beachwear, Rich, you've shown up to work in some rather interesting clothing choices sometimes.
Sure.
What's the motivation for that, and what's your favorite outfit? The evening gown or the...
No. The time I wore a dress was it was a marmy, just smock of a dress, and it was embarrassing. The evening gown I thought would have made me look a lot better, but I just could not quite grapple with the plunging neckline.
Pete is saying that it possibly could be something to do with you wearing lace in the middle of the day, and how do you think you can get away with that?
SparkFun, to be honest, is a pretty amazing company, and I can wear what I want. And I have exercised that option on occasion.
Was it even white lace after Labor Day?
I actually do not. Pete chides you. I do not have a lace thing. I still am trying to find the perfect dress, but I've not found it here.
With your figure, I imagine that's hard to find.
It is. I would agree. Yeah, that's the problem. That's why ankle length skirts is, I think, my calling card. I also just discovered today, because they spammed me and I was like, yes, I am interested in your product, a website, it's shirts that are, it's button-up shirts that are designed to not be tucked in, so they have a very casual but appropriate cutoff length. And then I went to their website, I went to their size chart, and I was in infinity. I went with my height and my weight was just nope. Their size chart had this blank spot.
Never the two shall meet.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah, which is why I wear a belt.
It's always good to wear a belt.
Yes.
Serious question coming in for both of you guys.
Okay.
Are you yourself fiscally responsible with your own money?
Enough to be able to pay my bills every month and be paying off my debt.
Okay. Nick, I want you to focus on the dog right here. Okay. That's not a credit card. That's a food card.
I'm gonna have to blank out all these numbers later.
You tell me. Yeah, sure. CPAs. We got it together. I'm still looking for the opportunity to have lots of discretionary cash so I can invest it wisely, but I do not have that. So I just have these. This is the Captain Crunch official sailor card. This is my Little League Baseball 2012 member card. This is my Home Depot Kids Make 2 card. None of these are credit cards. Silly people. Okay.
All right. Another serious question coming in for both of you guys.
Yeah, Tony, I just want to go on record here. I would love some more serious questions.
More serious questions? All right.
Will they get serious answers?
No. No. I just want to know you're trying.
All right. Have you found that manufacturing your most popular products in-house, large runs of those things, is much more profitable than outsourcing when taking into account depreciation of machinery and other things like that versus getting it manufactured elsewhere, such as in China?
Want me to run with that?
Go ahead.
What do you think, Lucas?
It is, so we did a very detailed analysis 2 or 3 years ago on deciding whether we should build in-house or contract manufacture in China or some other place. Depending on the way you weighted the assumptions, our model and our analysis kind of made it go either way. I think particularly for the early stages of product development, having the build cycle close to the engineering group for product revision and the feedback loop is really beneficial. Particularly in ModBot, we're a pretty young company. We've hired really bright people out of school, so we're sometimes light on experience. And so we've learned a lot from our own errors and trials. So being able to iterate really closely and not have to spend 12 hours a 12-hour time delay communicating with somebody halfway across the globe and just spend 6 weeks trying to get a revision versus run a new job out to the 3D printer and try it again the next day. We've had a lot of benefit there. Depending on the product, depending on what you're doing, though that analysis could go either way. There's a lot of things that make sense to have a cheaper labor build.
All right.
I would say that our experience is similar. I also think like we are a do-it-yourself company. We build stuff, and I think there are some things that we just don't know how to not do ourselves, which is why we built our own ERP system. And the other thing is like it feels like our volumes are high, and but honestly, in these little tiny manufacturing runs, it can actually be pretty expensive to go to third parties, and so we've never. I don't think it's fair. I think it's fair to say that we've never, in a really robust way, have done that plus minus across the board of manufacturing somewhere else versus ourselves. We've definitely had specific instances where we've talked to sub-manufacturers or manufacturers about particular projects, and we have generally beat those prices. We're trying to open up to the idea of working with other manufacturers where it fits and stuff, but it doesn't quite fit our psyche, and even though the volumes feel high to us in the big bad world, these are really small manufacturing runs, so it's hard to hit that bottom line with somebody else.
All right. Another question that came in, what's with the amazing wall decorations behind us?
Thank you. So this is the work of my daughter. Over Christmas break, we came in for a few days, and this is a combination of permanent marker, crayon, and you'll see some themes here. Well, first of all, nobody knows what this is. This. I actually think if I knew what this is, like a whole world would open up to me. But mostly what you're seeing are, well, let's see if anybody. Let's take this for example. Okay, can anybody tell me, like, what do they think that is? Anybody? World? Anybody? So. The answer is, it's a unicorn, and you're specifically seeing 4 unicorns combine their power into, I don't know, it doesn't go anywhere, but.
All right.
Yeah, so that's my daughter. That's her fine work.
All right.
She's also made an offer for $5. She will draw on anybody's office wall here.
Could she go in and draw on Lucas's wall?
Probably.
We are moving into a new space and may have some walls available for drawing on.
Nice.
Where are you guys moving to?
It's a space still in Boulder, but just a little bigger. We're bursting at the seams, and we're tripling our space.
What's the square footage?
Just over 14,000 the new space, and we're 4,000 in our current.
So those units you just gave there, somebody wanted to know, and this is a very serious question.
Yes.
Metric or imperial? Which one do you prefer?
Well, I like doing math in my head, so metric. But I grew up here, so I can't actually visualize things in kilometers.
I would say like I have like a schizophrenic hybrid approach to it.
What does that mean?
I don't know. That's why I think it's schizophrenic and hybrid. It's just when you have no idea what you're talking about, there's a decent chance you're being schizophrenic. So I just default
Okay.
there.
Serious question coming in for both of you. Do you guys do your own taxes? Personally?
Yes.
I also do Lucas's taxes, just on the side. So I do a lot of tax work still. I have like clients from former lives that I don't know how to like shake. But I do my own taxes, but I no longer do what I used to do, which was I would speed do them. I would take a pen. This is back when this is back again, like this is like World War II era. Like you would go to the post office to get your hard copy tax forms. And so I would get it and I'd go home and then in pen, as fast as I possibly could without a calculator, I would do my tax return. And I kid you not, I've done it in like a minute and 20 seconds. And I had never done it correctly in all those years I did that. I would always get these error like, you owe us $20. But I don't do that. I generally don't do that with other people's taxes because I can't get the hard copy forms anymore.
All right. Another serious question that came in. What do you see as the greatest strengths and weaknesses of your respective companies?
How about you do mine? I'll do yours. No, I'm kidding.
Strengths, we've got very innovative, engaging products that really the further you dive into the system, the more it opens up. And particularly with our new product, MOSS, the universe of the things you can make and the things you can do with them are phenomenal. Our lead engineer, John Hiller, has made robots that blow my mind and act like they're alive, even though they're just little plastic bits responding to their environment. Weaknesses, we're a small company trying to build things in Boulder, Colorado, one of the more expensive places in the country, and we're competing with some very big giants that have the power to build in much larger quantities in cheaper places in the world.
So I would say that SparkFun is, I don't think this is strength or weakness, but just sort of a general statement that we are struggling with the weight of our own growth. And I actually just stole that. A CFO across town that I was like, we should do lunch because Lucas is not answering my emails. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm really interested in your company. You seem to be burdened with the weight of your own growth. And so I used that quote today. It's true. Like we in the last 10 years, like we went through like 6 years of doubling, and we're still going through big growth. And our problem, I think, is we kind of want to do everything. And so our catalog is very big. I would say we have like a little bit of an identity crisis, like which piece of the market do we cater to? Because we're just growing and growing, and we want to provide products that newbies new into the world of embedded electronics and really low-level hobbyists can use. And we also want to be there for our core customer, which is that like prototyping engineer. And it's hard to do it all, and it's a tremendous amount of weight. And I think we're just starting to go through some of the struggles of trying to put that all on our back.
All right. Another question that came in for you guys, especially with those strengths and weaknesses, obviously there's some harder things that go along with being CFOs, but what originally made you guys both want to be CPAs or CFOs?
So the serious answer, right? Not the go off the track into the weeds funny answer, but the truthful answer is that I wanted to be an environmental scientist. But here I am. So you do the math. No, so to me, so I've always been sort of a relatively like controlling person, a relatively prudent mind. I kind of see the way things work. Maybe not the inner workings of this like some of our engineers, but I see how this came to be and how you as a consumer bought this. And so my desire to just sort of command that equation is what led me towards like CPA-dom. I would say that being in an account, I guess we're not really accountants anymore, but like your average CPA is, especially if you're working in industry, you're not there to crunch the numbers. You're there to understand how this product comes to be and ends up in a consumer's hand, and the person that produced it has $1 in their pocket. Like, you have command of that equation. It's not an accounting command. So that's what navigated me there when my dreams of being an environmental scientist were dashed based on my low GPA.
What about you, Lucas?
Well, I had a crazy job in college selling books door to door, which gave me my first taste of the business world. And while I sucked at door-to-door sales, I was really good at the detail-oriented tasks like permit management, inventory management, and territory allocation within our organization. And then I couldn't pass programming languages for my computer science degree, so I went over to business. Numbers have always spoken to me, so I went with whatever seemed most number-like in business. Ended up in accounting. I'll do a little kickback to Myers-Briggs. I'm an INTJ, so that means that I can see the details and how they fall together, but then I'm able to pull back and see the big picture. And in the accounting world, that's helped me to move into a position of a CFO, where you still have to have the grasp of the individual debits and credits and where the transactions are going, but then to manage the business, see it from 10,000 feet.
All right. In your positions as CFOs, do you guys ever get to travel to awesome foreign places to do business stuff?
I mentioned Brussels early in this webcast. This is a message to our CEO, Nathan Seidel. We need to have an office in Brussels. So the answer is no. No. I once, as an auditor, I was auditing the books of Cornell University, and I was working in the federal grant-funded research and development area in Cornell, and I came across this ruling that required, so Cornell, in Puerto Rico, there was a place called Arecibo, where they've got this giant, what's it called, Mike?
Giant dish.
Giant dish. Radio telescope. And it's in the jungle, and it's amazing. And I came across this thing as an auditor, and it was like, if in a federally funded grant to a university, there is employees employed by that grant, the auditor must make physical, visual audit of the thing. So I went to my powers that be, and I said, I need to go to Arecibo. And they were like, no, we can just pass on that. And I was just like, you can just pass on that? And that was the closest as an accountant I've come to someplace cool.
Oh.
I agree. I've never gone any place cool, either in my realm as a auditor or now. But my CEO keeps threatening to send me to China, which still doesn't qualify.
There's some pretty cool places.
To meet with our plastics injection molders in the industrial industry of China.
All right. We're getting close to the end here, so if you guys have any last minute questions you want to get in, please post those. We had somebody ask if they could come work for you, Lucas. What do you tell people that want a job at Modular Robotics? What can they do?
Well,
where should they go and look?
we have some jobs posted. Right now we are not pushing for any new hires. We just restructured our entire assembly process, and so we're using the workforce we have to really get that dialed. I do expect that we'll be hiring again into those roles soon. We're pretty well staffed up as far as our corporate side, but let us know what your skill set is. Tell us why you think you could help us get to the next level.
And if anybody's interested in working at SparkFun, Rich?
So a similar thing. I mean, we post our jobs. We like to think that in any given area within SparkFun, there's always a seat available for a superstar. But right now, we last year we went through kind of a growth phase again. We recently brought on some engineers, so the opportunities are limited. We are currently hiring for an accounts receivable clerk. Anybody? But yeah, I mean, it's hard. You like to companies like ours that are it's a hard road in. You have to have I don't know what I'm saying, Tony, but right now we don't have too many postings up there, but that's how we tend to promote our jobs, is through our own website. And I think being an engineer at SparkFun is it's a really nice and great situation, and it's quite a hurdle to get over, but I encourage you to apply.
All right. And I'm supposed to tell you that question came from Empress Lisa. So.
Oh. There is now a new position open here at SparkFun.
All right, and on that note, we're getting close to the end, so we're going to end. I know, Lucas, you came prepared today for this specifically, and so would you please be so kind, or would you both be so kind as to share your favorite accountant or finance jokes with the audience?
Well, my CEO told me I shouldn't read them from the sheet that I brought. I did bring a whole page in case there was dead space.
Nice.
But let's see, the favorite. There were some good ones.
I mean, if you've got one or two, we can in a few seconds.
A lady goes to see her doctor for some really serious conditions or symptoms. And the doctor tells her that she only has 6 months left to live. And she's distraught and says, "Doctor, is there anything I can do?" And he says, "I recommend that you marry a CPA." And she says, "Will that make me live longer?" He says, "No, but it'll feel longer."
Nice. I have none, but quite randomly, my wife coined the phrase, "accountants do it in arrears."
Oh.
What? That's it. That's all I got.
Any rebuttal to that, Lucas?
How can I follow? Maybe as a distraction.
Yeah.
How does Santa's accountant value his sleigh?
I don't know. How does he?
Net present value.
I don't know. That is actually funny.
Let's see. Where do homeless accountants live?
I don't know. Oh.
Come on, you got this.
I don't know.
Tax shelters.
Nice, nice. This is going to go south.
It's going south very quickly. This is painful.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any last parting thoughts or wisdom or random quotes for the greater audience out there on the internet?
No, I can. We don't have time here for me to tell you the better alternate ending to the Battlestar Galactica series that I've thought up in my head, but
We'll have to do another video for that.
yes, yeah. I would like a whole series of videos of my alternate endings to TV shows that dropped it at the 11th hour. Like, I almost didn't. Like, I'm still mad about Lost. I just want to say that about Lost. Like, what? Like, whatever. Yeah, I got nothing. I'm out. That's it. I'm done.
All right.
Done here, Tony. So mad. So mad. Thanks, Lucas.
All right. Thanks for joining us, guys, and we'll be doing another SparkFun Live in March.
Cool. Yeah.